Welcome to the Extra Room Podcast. My name is Maeli Nielsen, co-host
Shawn Finnegan.
Oh man, so good. And today we have a special treat for you. We get to interview Kyle Nielsen and Buddy. Yep. What's up, my
Buddy
friend?
the Elf, as you can see on his shirt right here.
What's your favorite color?
What's your favorite color? Oh my gosh, we're so excited. So normally, right, what we like to do is just kind of hear your journey. This is mostly for our entrepreneurs. That's what the podcast is for, to help them understand like the grit, the grind, the freedom, the survival. Like, how did you become who you become? You obviously have, I believe, the number one, pest control company in the nation. I mean, just like, oh my gosh, like, right? And you started a bunch of other companies you're doing. Like, you have a really cool journey. Maybe let's take all the way back though. Like, how did you get started in the whole?
I was born in May 16th, 1984. No,
Start that far back.
So I was recently returned from an LDS mission to Mexico City in 2007, and a friend had reached out and said, "Hey, we need some technicians to come spray houses," and I was getting back into school. What do I want to do with my career? Engaged, to be married, like just a lot of fun things going on in life. And I trusted my friend and went out and just started kind of spraying houses as a technician for the company at the time was called Moxie. So we were one of the first Moxie franchises that Jason Walton kind of franchised out. Dave Royce was our founder of our franchise. And so we were the first kind of Moxie franchise. And so I went down and started spraying houses for I think $8.16 an hour at the time way back then. And then I quickly became a service manager with the company. We had sold off the company the next year to Terminix, and then rebranded, started a new branch. That's very common in the industry to build. A few years, sell off, rebrand, build, sell off. And so they approached me and said, "Hey, do you want to move up to the Bay Area from Southern California, where I'm from, and start the branch for us with this new brand?" And that's when Jason and Dave split off, and Dave Royce became, the sole owner and founder of the new brand we were running, and I became the top branch in the company. Most customers, best customer retention, best sales rep and employee retention, and the biggest grossing, most customers. So it was a really fun thing, and there was a lot of hours. It was 12-hour days, 6-7 days a week, all the licensing, permitting, trucks, apartments, just everything. And so I got this not necessarily an entrepreneurial journey. It was an intrapreneurial journey, and I don't know if that's a real word, but I like it. I use it a lot. Yeah. And honestly, I actually recommend that most people go the intrapreneurial route first, because you can learn a whole lot on someone else's dime and get mentored a lot.
Juice. That is probably like the most golden nugget I've heard in a long time. People always like, "Oh, I just want to be the person." It's like, you have to become the person in the trenches, be forged first.
Exactly, by learning from the people.
Yes.
And you get to learn a lot about business, how they work, how they run. And if you do a good job, you start getting involved in all the meetings and all the things anyways, and you feel like a part of the business. And honestly, I've always felt like I was a part of the ownership group. A lot of it was through sweat equity, a lot. But so after that summer, 2009, so now we're, 7, 8, 9, I was doing a lot of the sales rep payroll at the end of the sales summer. And I started seeing what these sales reps were making in a 4-month, 5-month summer, 6 days a week, pretty intense hours for 4 or 5 months. But I was looking at what I was making in a full year, what they were making in a summer, and I was like,
it's
almost like that meme, like, hold up, something ain't right here, And so I approached the ownership group, called Vess Pearson and Dave, and just said, "Hey, I think that I'm worth more than what I'm making. We only have 4 branches now, and I'm at the bottom of the 10-year totem pole to grow on the service side. To grow on the service side faster, we need more salespeople. I want to go to the sales side." So I packed up with my wife, and we'd found out we were just not newly, we'd been married for a while, but found out we were pregnant. So I walked away from health insurance, salary, company truck, company phone, company gas card.
Lots of comforts.
All the comforts to go 1099, independent contractor, full commission, moved up to Utah end of 2009, and started recruiting and knocking doors, and went out and sold my first summer in Phoenix, Arizona.
Cool.
The coldest place to work. Out of the 8 offices we had that year, that was my 9th draft pick.
Ooh.
Out of all the places to go, but I ended up going, to Phoenix. I loved it. Because it was definitely a learning experience. Like you said, it was hot. There were a lot of days where I'd walk past like even like a melted trash can or like a melted over like a mailbox. Like it was like abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Like everything had just given up. But you had to really go out there and like know what you were doing, believe in the service. And honestly, it was a great market for the bugs because everybody had scorpions and everything else. So I learned how to provide value in a very competitive market. And again, like in what I learned,
did people feel bad for you? But
everybody
like
gave you water. Everybody gave you water. Not that this matters, but a fun little side story. If you've done door-to-door sales or anything of type where people do tend to give you waters or something, the scariest thing when you're walking over the house, you twist the water bottle cap off and it doesn't have that security click. You're like, oh, do I drink it or not? But you know, you drink it, you say a quick prayer. But I learned, you know, through that and through a lot of other, you know, through moving to the Bay Area and switching to commission, that the best path is often the not appealing, the road less traveled. You know, Robert Frost, and I took the harder path in a lot of ways. And in those earlier years of my career, it made the biggest difference. So then I led a team the next year and become a division manager and then a regional manager and then a VP of sales. And so year over year, I'm growing my org, I'm training, and I'm learning still in this very entrepreneurial environment and getting put in opportunities to lead bigger meetings and speak on stage and run trainings and run the content and the branding and like all of our culture and our incentives and tournaments. And then I was approached at the end of the 2020 crazy COVID year to step into a president of sales position and leave the 1099 commission side, jump into a salaried role. And then I was a president of sales for about 4 years. I'm just kind of to give you like Cliff Notes version.
I love this.
The journey. We had built and sold a few brands along the way. We had built a company called EcoFirst, sold that off to Terminix. Built a company called Alterra. Sold that off to Terminix, and that one was unique because they didn't just buy our customer base; they bought our brand and the IP. So they actually kept the brand and things running for a while as well, not just hey, you know, they show up and you're a Terminix customer now. Here it is. And then we started a company called Aptive at the end of 2015, and Aptive is the brand of the company that I still work for now, and that's a brand that I don't see ever going like to a strategic, like a Terminix or an Orkin, like rebranding. And we're going on, you know, we're 2026 now. So yeah, we're going on a lot of years with that brand.
I currently have Aptive, so thank you.
Do you? Yes. Awesome. There we go.
Absolutely.
Well, I think the advantage also with your story is there's no position you're not familiar with or haven't done. Like a techs, you know what literally from the ground up. It's not like you came in on the top. You were spraying houses. And
I think that you have to, again, that entrepreneurial role, like if you've walked a mile or more in their shoes and you've knocked a mile or more in their shoes, you can empathize, you can relate, and you can problem solve. But when you don't know what they're going through on any given day, so I mean, for me, if I see a technician out, we call them service pros, like service professionals within our company, but if I see a technician out in a neighborhood, I always make sure I have, you know, protein bars, granola bars, water bottles, Gatorades, like even just like, you know, hey, I'll unlock your truck real quick. What do you know? I'm just going to leave something on your seat for you. Leave them $5, $10 for their lunch. Like that to me made a big difference when I was a tech. And I mean, obviously they make $20, $21, $22 an hour now. They get paid a lot better than I did back then. But yeah, so we built the company up, and then about a year and a half ago brought in a private equity partner.
Cool.
And at that point, I had this fork in the road. You know, on one angle, do I stay in my W-2 position and leave myself at the potential mercy of new private equity that might just see me as a budget cut dollar amount? So they don't know my history. And obviously there's times to still prove and earn your worth. Do I depart after having a liquidation event? Do I stay within the company but find a new role or a new position in the vehicle? And ultimately I took about half of my equity that I had cashed out, rolled it into the next phase of the company, and decided to transition from my president of sales role back into more of like a regional or a VP kind of recruiter role that was a little more trenchy. And so I stepped away or stepped down. I don't want to say step down because I stepped into a role that made more sense to me. So it's not a, demotion, but I stepped into this partner role, as we call them. where I was, back into the recruiting, building, and more hands-on role because I wanted to know my people, and knowing them makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And I actually packed up my family after a 4-year door knocking, relocating hiatus, and went out and knocked doors again last summer.
Heck yeah.
And
Let's go.
and led a team, led my own team, and built out an org. And this year I'll just be traveling and training around all my teams and things there. But it's been fun to transition away. And during that transition from my W-2 back into this more partner role, it opened up the opportunity for me to also invest and start a few other businesses on the side that I probably couldn't have done as a W-2. Like, these are your hours, this is your structure. And so it's just been fun to kind of build that, and honestly, knocking doors for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, talking to a lot of people all day long, every day, gets you really good at understanding people. And for me to change the world, which I think we all want to do. That's why we do things like this. That's why we network. That's why we communicate. Like, you have to understand the world, and do that, you have to understand the melting pot that is the world and people. And so I've learned that by knocking on a door or cold calling somebody or something, the more you step out of your comfort zone, the bigger it becomes, and it's really fun. So that's kind of my story up to, that's my pest control journey.
The key here, though, is like the trenches. So often I feel like there's this huge disconnect. So you probably remember this. So when Protection One decided to merge and buy out the door knocking company, they're like, oh, like, this is going to be a really good idea. Protection One is going to buy out another security company.
Pinnacle or something. I think it was Pinnacle. Yeah,
Pinnacle. And so Pinnacle, right? And they're like, oh, we'll just combine. So I was actually the, head with Riley Malkovich. So we actually were like, oh, we'll go lead and we will help, P1 actually become a door knocking company. They had never had door knockers. Yeah. Right? Second largest alarm company, and they'd never had door knockers. And we're like, well, that's interesting. We went out in the trenches, right? But the conflict was wild because corporate didn't understand the field. Yeah. And the field couldn't communicate to corporate. And that ladder was just so intense that they had no perspective of what we were doing in the field. And that's such an interesting thing, and that's why you're so successful, is when you have done all of the dirty work, and you've been forged through those trenches. Like, I understand each level of how this has to work. I love that. That's honestly, so powerful. I think that it's so fun.
And I honestly love the trenchy, kind of gritty, grimy.
So does she knock doors.
Yes,
work.
I still do.
Yeah. And I love that more than, I'm not built, personally, I'm not built to be in an office all day.
No, put me in the field.
Like, put me in the field, put me out, put me with the people. Yes. And like, I'm a very like servant leader. And like, I need to know, again, that to me is what excites me the most about business, is impacting people. Customers and, our sales reps who are also customers, and the employees who are also customers, because they all need brand buy-in to stick around. And
absolutely.
And I feel like I just never wanted to be viewed as somebody that was just sitting in an office all day with my feet up on the desk, watching my bank account and the company's bank account get bigger.
I can't. Yeah.
And I don't think that I'll ever be in that role, unless I have a bunch of AI bots making me money. Then that's okay.
So, people always make fun of me for that. They're like, "You're always," and I'm like, "It's because
she does grind a lot. She is
where the magic happens." Yep. And if you disconnect yourself from the field, I think you lost your entire sales force. Yeah, like I do.
We got to talk Buddy the Elf. We made a reference at the beginning. What's your favorite color and the food groups, right?
And it is sure.
So
candy,
in case you don't know, locally, this guy's very famous. What are the 3 food groups?
No, I think it's 4 main food groups: candy corns, candy canes, and syrup.
Yeah,
syrup. Yeah,
syrup or sugar. It's been, I haven't quoted the Elf movie for a few months, so but I think it's syrup.
So he's local famous for sure, because we have the Delta Center and the Jazz, and we have the Mammoth here. Yep. And he goes dressed up as Buddy the Elf. And so
you're going tonight, you said?
I might bring the costume out tonight.
Yeah, so you can see he's represented at least on the shirt for now. And we're not talking about part way Buddy the Elf, like a shirt like that. We're talking about all in tights, spandex tights, feeling the full Buddy outfit. And so want to get your take. Why do you do that?
Yeah. So it started, I think, back in like 2011 or 12. Like, I wore it. We were doing a Sub for Santa toy drive. Like, charity and giving back has always been something super, super important to me. I came from a bigger family from Southern California. We always had our needs met. Looking back, like, I realized that our needs weren't met as good as I thought they were as a kid. My parents did a really good job at getting creative with the dinners and the trips and and like really budgeting on that kind of stuff. But we always gave. We always did Sub for Santas and 12 Days of Christmas and like just different things. And giving has always been a key part of I feel like my identity. And so I've always looked at giving as, you know, again, if I'm not giving, I'm not living is kind of a, you know, is part of my my ethos. Is it ethos?
Whatever. I've heard both
potato,
ways.
potato. And so we were doing a toy drive and we were raising some donations. And this was in my earlier years where I hadn't, you know, quite, you know, made a lot of money yet. And so, you know, even around, you're still waiting for back end checks to come in, but I knew there was families that need to be impacted. And so we're like, hey, let's go knock some, you know, rich neighborhoods in Orem and Provo and the Indian Hills areas. And let's let people know, hey, we're doing some Sub for Santas. Here's the org we're working for. Do you have any donations? And if not, do you have any like clothes or coats and things? And the day we were going to go out and do our last like money raise, just dumping snow. And so my sales team, they're like, wow, but it's Kyle, it's snowing. What do we do? And I was like, I'm going to rent an elf costume and I'm going to go knock doors in an elf suit and help raise money. And they were like, you'll do that? Let's go. And so like, they wanted to see it happen. And so we park our cars, I get out and I'm knocking doors. Actually knocked into, I think, Todd Peterson's house, not knowing it was Todd Peterson's house.
Amazing.
His wife, they're both saints. They give so much.
Yes.
I think she, like, without even hesitating, wrote a $500 check or something. Like, boom, just done. So we raised some more money, and then we went the next day and did all the shopping. So I had this costume I rented.
How did people respond when you knock on the
this,
door?
Like,
yeah,
like, what
they're looking through the people.
Yeah, and there's this elf. Like, maybe they were expecting Christmas grams.
Yes.
One of those.
Yes.
Hey, buddy.
But like everyone would open up, and once they realized that I was there, you know, with a purpose.
Yeah.
And I've always like, this is both in charity, in door knocking, in life and business. Like where there's purpose, there's power. Yeah. And so if you have something that you have that is a deep purpose or deep goal that enables, it unlocks an enabling power. And I think I'm even going to sound maybe a little woo-woo crazy, but it unlocks like magic.
Yes.
Like the magic happens when you have power and when there's purpose. And so
the right purpose.
Yeah, the right purpose.
Aligned.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And like the long game, the long-term winning purpose.
Yeah.
And so I was, you know, we raised this money. So I wore the costume the next day to do all the shopping. And I didn't think much of it, but I waved and did all my things, and I noticed as we were walking past, people. There's a kid crying in a shopping cart, and the mom is like trying to hush them, and they walk past, and the kid sees an elf and just stops crying. And kids are pointing, people are laughing, and just everybody around, like the aura. I guess that's a term that kids are using nowadays. There was a high aura level, and like it was just this positive light. And again, I returned the costume, didn't think anything of it. 12 months go by. Hey, Kyle, are you going to rent the costume again for this year's Sub for Santa? Why not?
Why not?
So I rented it again, and we were checking out at Target, Orem Center Street Target. And one of the ladies was like, you were here last year. You were in the elf suit last year, right? Because I was running around register to register, swiping cards. And she was like, we were talking about it, and everyone was just so much happy. Like, it just, something was different when you were in the store that we felt, 15, 20 minutes after you left, it kind of got back to normal work. But like when you were here, and everyone just felt a little happier.
Aww.
And so like the little, like for me, it was like this little pebble of positivity to a little pond. And fast forward, I just kind of made it a part of my Christmas giving. And then it became, I think it's 2017 or 18. How do I throw a bigger like positivity pebble into a bigger pond, or a big rock into a lake? Wear it to a jazz game. So I wore it to, the ripple effects, right? And so I wore it to a jazz game. And
I saw the video. It totally went viral.
So,
such a good video.
I wore it to a jazz game. And at the end of the game, it was back when like they would pour water on the player of the game. It was the Christmas Eve game. Donovan was the player of the game. Rudy Gobert sneaks up behind him, and Rudy Gobert on his way over to sneak up behind him grabs my hat off my head, and instead of pouring water on him, throws the elf hat on him. And so there's this picture online where I'm in the background blurry, like, where's my hat? Like, this. Donovan is like thinking water's getting poured on him, and he's like up here, the elf hat's there, Rudy Gobert's towering over him. And that kind of went viral. And it was when they had their green and yellow uniforms and stuff. And so that was like the game. And then some of the local like attendants in the arena were like, are you going to wear the elf next year? And again, it became this thing. And so I was like, well, why not wear it to all the games from the time that Mariah Carey starts playing on the radio in November to like the end of Christmas.
Cool.
And then it was, now that we have a hockey team, let's wear it to the hockey games. I've done Lakers games, Clippers games. I've worn it through airports. I've done, 10 toy drives in 10 cities in 10 days with Dan Fleischman and a few other, big charity guys. And wearing it out and about in, 2 stores, 2 shopping, 2 Christmas light displays, to dinner, like it just makes everybody happy, myself included. Like I can't be mad when I'm in this, when I'm in this elf suit.
Yes.
And so, so that to me, it's, I'll say this, it's become an outward expression of an inward core value and belief that I hold dear, which is giving. And so many people associate giving to like writing a check or money. But giving is a smile, it's a handshake, it's a hug, it's a fist bump, it's a wave, it's an acknowledgement. And that's where so many people are like, I can't give until I have money to give, or I can't give until I have more. They think about like, to go, biblical for a second, like the widow's mite, like she goes and gives and that's like everything she had. But everyone has something they can give. And honestly, smiles, I would argue that smiles and hugs and handshakes and acknowledgments, making someone feel seen or heard, is worth more than cutting a check to an organization. And if everybody was just a little more friendly, and in that time of year that's supposed to be magical, that's supposed to be happy, it's not for a lot of people because of the commercialization or what they're going through or broken families or deaths or other things. And so for me, it's just, a very outward expression of an inward belief that I hold super, super dear.
Let me say this too, because he took me to the hockey game a couple weeks ago. It was unbelievable. His tickets are insane. Yeah. It was incredible. And the food. Yeah. Like he knows how to make a sundae, ice cream sundae like no one else.
Nice. Where was my invite?
Yeah, you do need that invite. It's the best ever. But as we walked around, I just feel like in public spaces, there's some invisible people in those spaces. And those invisible people are the janitors. They're the security guards. There are a lot of the people that we don't even look at. We won't even make eye contact sometimes. And when we go into the space, and they just exist there. And being around Kyle, it was totally different. Every single security guard, every single attendant at the food, everyone, he went up and talked to literally 100% of them. And he went out of his way to go right up to them and see them. And so I asked him, I was like, why do you do that? And I loved your answer. If you want to share it, and we can end with this. I'd love to.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the same reason. Like I teach, some 10 and 11-year-old kids in my church on Sundays, 30 minutes with them. And I don't spend a whole lot of time. I make sure I block off enough time to like talk about being a good person and like being honest and like the good principles we should all live by. Yeah. But I spend a good chunk of the time like getting them like, how was your week? How are you doing? Like, I don't know if that acknowledgement of being seen or heard, that security guard, that janitor, I don't know what they're going through back home. I don't know if I'm the only person that's asked them how they're doing this week. Like I might be the only person that said hi to them. Like in like an actual, like they're my boss. They had to say hi to me. But like, I don't know anyone's circumstances and people are carrying this invisible burden. And when you're carrying an invisible burden and you feel invisible, in addition to that, like that to me is a scary place to be. And so for me, I believe that everybody deserves to feel seen and heard. And yeah, so I believe, and I know for a fact in at least one instance that me hopping across the street in a crosswalk in my elf suit, waving at somebody that was parked in a car while I was hopping across, came up and talked to me after a Jazz game in 2019 and said, hey, I came to this game with the intention of like this being the last thing I did before I went home and killed myself. And came up to me after and just said, seeing you just wave and be positive and be happy made me feel like if this kid can be in an elf suit, happy and jumping around, like there's probably more worth living with, or there's more worth living for. Gave this guy a big hug. Still alive today. And I don't want to take the credit for that, but like that was a little glimpse of hope. Yeah. And, that's an extreme.
Sure.
But you don't know what people are going through. And so for me, in a world where, I don't know where this quote came from. It's probably like a Mr. Rogers or something, but in a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Mr. Rogers, but it sounds like something he would say.
Yeah, totally.
In a world where you can be anything, be kind. It literally takes little to nothing. And even if you're having a bad day, I always say, even on the days where you are having a bad day, you can change your mindset in an instant by doing something nice for somebody else. Even if it's an unknown, hey, pay for the person behind you. I'll hop into a gas station drive-through or a Starbucks drive-through without even any intent to buying anything myself. Hey, can I get a glass of water and, something cheap? And then I'll just pay for the person behind me just to do it.
Why not?
Just to do it. Why not? And so, yeah, for me, it's why not just be in a world where so much, obviously, what gets views nowadays, the polarizing, the negativity, this shooting there, this war here, this tax hike, so much of the sensationalism. Where is the positivity in all these? Positive headlines don't get views and comments as much as they should.
Yeah, I agree.
And so in a world where everything is being from a mindset standpoint during the summertime where I have to be in a good mindset, I don't even watch the news. I zone out.
I don't.
Social media.
I live in Maeli's weird.
Yeah, I live in this world where everything is awesome, Legos, right? And so I want to be a reason that there's more positivity in the world, and I honestly don't care about the money, about the fun cars, the watches and all the fun things that that are also that come with having some wealth and things, as much as the impact that I can make, and my drive to become wealthy from a monetary standpoint isn't to have the nicest house on the block. It's to be able to impact at a higher level than I could otherwise. And I just, in a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Don't you love that answer?
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's
a beautiful
so
thing to
inspiring.
see.
And you really are light. You emanate this just absolute sheer light that people have to be attracted to. It really is so inspiring.
I try. It's not
working.
easy, but
you're doing it. So you know what I mean? You are this person now, which is cool.
But you guys are too. And that's why I think from the first time I met Shawn, and I've met you at a few X-Room events and things as well. We have some overlapping circles and friends.
Totally.
If you're friends with Trost, if you're friends with Kevin Trost, Dave Allred, you're a good person. But and I've always been attracted again to the light that Shawn is, and how he fills up a room and how inclusive he is by bringing people in and getting them on stage and a chance to tell their stories. Because again, how many people have you had where it's their first podcast they've ever been on, or even their only one?
Yeah.
And you're the only person that's ever said, "Hey, hop on and let's talk."
Yeah.
I mean, being around you, I've decided to raise my bar and try to talk to the invisible people in the world and try to notice them and see them.
Yeah.
So you inspire me, but you inspire thousands out there. So it's an absolute honor.
The goal.
The great message.
Yes.
It really is such a great. Be kind.
Yes.
Be kind. Oh, I love that so much. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, bro.
Sharing your journey and your light and your love. If you are obviously watching this, I would love for you to put in the comments a way that you've potentially given back, or maybe how Kyle's impacted your life. It really is in this world, we need more kindness. Yep. So thank you for being here.
And if an elf can show up to your event, sorry to cut off on the class.
Let's do that. You can book
honestly,
the elf.
Shoot me a DM. If there's a charity event going on or something that would be impactful to have an elf show up and run around for a little bit.
You no longer have to rent it. You have one.
I own 5 elf costumes. 5 elf suits.
It's done. I'm definitely having you come to our personal challenge.
Yes,
that'll be way cool.
Okay,
oh my gosh. And the X-Room. We need
we do actually.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
All right.
Okay,
you heard
cool.
it here.
Well, thank you for joining us. As always, ring that bell, give us a like, and make sure you put this in the comments and share this message to the world. Share this with someone that needs to hear this. Let's make some impact together. See you on the next one.